Welcome to the Innovation World podcast. Innovation World is your go-to source for all things innovation, invention, and entrepreneurship. Our website is www.innovationworld.org.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Launch Network. I am Carmine Danisco, your co-host for today's show of Innovation World. With me is my co-host, Miss Julie Shively. Julie, what's happening?
Hey, not a whole bunch. Not staying as warm as you guys, I bet.
Oh, man, I was thinking about you this morning. I said, man, you know, it's a little bit cold up there, right?
Balmy 36 today, I think. Waiting for my plane ticket to come down and co-host down in Florida with you and with Larry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, definitely. I mean, this is a good time to do it. You know, I've been up in Ohio, obviously, in the summertime and things, and it's not too bad. But when it gets winter, boy, it's you want do a lot of people go back and forth. I know that there's some snowbirds up further north of you, but there's a lot of people that go to the warm states in the winter.
Some of the lucky people. Yep. I have a friend right now who's in Aruba for a month house sitting. I'm like, how do you get these gigs?
Wow.
On the other side of this, it's a great day to stay inside and talk about innovation.
That's very true. That is true, you know, and I know you always have a lot of things going on. What's the deal with some events, or what's been happening?
Well, we're running an event right now on innovationworld.org. If listeners want to go out and check it out, it's on our events page. It is Ready, Set, Innovate. It's a global invention competition for students kindergarten through college age. And I say through college age because they don't actually have to be in college to be an innovator or inventor. And it's open now. And I think registration's closing on February 27th. So anyone interested in participating in that competition needs to get out there and get their registration started and get their video done and submit it. We're ready.
Wow, it's amazing. And, you know, it just seems to me like a lot of young entrepreneurs, a lot of young adults, they like the innovation world, invention world, but they just don't know how to get started. And that's what I love about kind of what you're doing. You're giving people that vehicle to jump in and get started. And then they realize that there's a lot of people like them, right?
There really are. And I think what we hope to do through the Innovation World platform is to bring those opportunities together in one place so that it makes it a little bit easier for that innovator to find what they're looking for, to find curriculum that they're looking for, or find podcasts that might help them out to review or be part of, to find industry, toys, games, conferences, and of course competitions. We have a wide variety of competitions listed on our site and always bringing in more. So it's kind of a one-stop hub for innovation as we see it.
Well, very cool. And I know that you and I are working on a partnership with the United Inventors Association, which should, once we solidify, should really help bring more people and more eyeballs on not only the invention world, but also, you know, what you guys are doing for young inventors too, which is really cool. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
So in our path, as Innovation World was working towards these goals, we actually met Mr. Larry Plank along the way through another associate, and we've invited him on our show today as our guest, and look forward to Larry sharing with us all of the things he's engaged in right now, which could probably take a couple hours. So I guess I'll have to give us the cliff notes of what he's engaged in right now. But he's doing some pretty great things in the Tampa region of Florida, and probably outside of that as well. With that said, I'd like to introduce Larry.
Larry, what's happening, my friend?
Hey, my friend. I'm doing good. So enjoying that warm weather down here in Tampa, Florida. It's beautiful outside, not a cloud in the sky, and right around 78 degrees. So for those of you in cold parts of the nation, we send you our best, and maybe a little bit of sunshine as well.
I think that's been part of the growth down here, right, Larry? Everybody wants to come down to the Sunshine State.
That is great. They certainly do. And, while they're at it, they get to take part in quite a few other opportunities that we have here. So it's a really exciting time to be in Tampa Bay. Our economy is growing. We've been, honored in several magazines, by other organizations such as Forbes, as one of the most significant tech hubs in the nation. And we're excited about the new footprint of our downtown corridor. The school district is intimately involved with 217,000 kids. We're the 7th largest school district in the nation. So we have quite a few partners, and we also have a call to duty to make sure that we're filling a talent pipeline and getting kids excited about entrepreneurial education and innovation education. But more importantly, making sure that we're delivering them to society as creators and innovators and folks that'll make positive change for our community.
Wow. Did you hear that, Julie? The 7th largest.
217,000 students. That's incredible.
It's crazy.
The good news about that is that I don't have to take attendance each day. While I say my classroom has gotten bigger over the 21 years I've been here in Hillsborough, I do not have to take attendance, but we do thank those teachers that do so each and every morning, and we honor the great work that they do with our children.
Wow. So cool. You know, just to jump in, Julie, I know you have a bunch of questions going on, but I just helped out with the teach-in at Farnell Middle School over here in Hillsborough, and I was amazed at the questions and how technical and things that these kids, when I say kids, these young adults were bringing up. They are super not only interested in innovation, but man, they were smart, a bunch of kids in the classrooms. It was amazing.
Yeah, they're incredible kids. So, you know, as a teacher, I remember always having to stay a day or two ahead of the kids teaching biology and the other science subjects in high school. But what amazes me more now is walking into an elementary school or perhaps a middle school, as you were in Farnell, and listening to them and their knowledge of the world and the questions that they ask are extraordinary. And they do have this different mindset, you know, and education has changed, you know, it needs to change from what it used to be when any of us had been to school. And that's a challenge for administrators such as myself, you know, who are trying to balance core subject areas, you know, that we're all familiar with, like language arts and literacy, social sciences, science and mathematics, all while creating space for innovation, creativity, STEM, engineering, and the like. And so that's an adult problem. And so we have to make sure that we are providing kids with the appropriate access and opportunity, both in and out of school, to enjoy what they learn and demonstrate what they learn. And I think your exposure there at the Great American Teach-In last week, or the week prior, was probably enlightening, but at the same time, a little bit frightening because, you know, these kids are brilliant, as you said, and you know, keeping them from being bored and not picking up a device to find out the things that we might be delivering as a public school system is a big challenge for us. So keeping kids engaged and making sure that everything we're doing is relevant and creates positive outcomes in their lives is important.
So Larry, tell us about a few of the programs you have going on right now in the area for students, and maybe a little bit about the different age groups as well that you're servicing.
Yeah, absolutely, Julie. Thank you so much for asking that question. I am the director for STEM education for Hillsborough County Public Schools, and it is a one-man job. We have 248 school sites with those 217,000 kids. So, you know, I have a small army of folks that do help me in innovative opportunities for our kids and our teachers. So with that, you know, we are responsible not only for our curriculum, but we're in the regular school day, but we're also responsible for what happens outside of school time. And, you know, the school district plays a significant role in community-based opportunities. We have quite a few outstanding partnerships that I'll get to in just a moment when we talk about our STEM learning ecosystem. But the University of South Florida, particularly the Stavros Center, which is the Economic Development Center in the College of Education, has several grants that we've partnered on, for instance, with Coca-Cola. And part of that is to develop a entrepreneurial mindset within our kids, you know, as early as kindergarten. And so we have several teachers once a month that are trained there at the College of Education different assets tools that are available to them, including those that are available in Innovation World, so that they can better meet the needs of our kids. So that's the touching the students piece, and it's also making sure that we're providing the right professional learning assets to our teachers. But parents are a key element, and so we host several family nights throughout the year through my office, and just about every school probably does some sort of family night, whether it's conference night or maybe math night. But the nights that we do are focused upon engineering and entrepreneurialism and the local Tampa Bay economy. And so that's a little bit unique. While we have kids doing some fun activities with their parents, we're also educating the parents on the jobs of tomorrow and why innovation and entrepreneurial and creative education is important as early as elementary school. So that's one hat I wear. And I also mentioned that there was a STEM learning ecosystem here. So Tampa Bay is very proud to be one of the original 27 STEM learning ecosystems, which are managed by your neck of the woods up there, Julie, the Teaching Institute for Excellence in STEM. So that's Jan Morrison's group out of Cleveland, with the help and funding of the Samueli Foundation. Henry Samueli was the founder of Broadcom. And so his philanthropic portfolio includes more zeros than many of us can count. But one of his initiatives are ensuring that kids have access, that they can become all that they want to be, particularly around innovation and engineering. And so Henry went ahead and founded the original 27 ecosystems and engaged ties to help manage structure. So what has emerged after 5 years of that work are now 89 STEM learning ecosystems around the globe. So that work has expanded internationally to include Vancouver, Mexico City, several cities in Africa and Israel. And I think they have their eyes on Europe right now as well to spread the word and help them build STEM learning ecosystems in the community. But I think you rolled back to, what's cool and exciting. And we're happy to have partners within our own Tampa Bay STEM Network here, learning ecosystem of the Museum of Science and Industry, the Florida Aquarium, and the Glazier Children's Museum, all of which in their own lanes are supporting innovation and entrepreneurial education. So not only do all participate in, for instance, our STEM fair, but all are looking at how we can push the envelope a bit in the Tampa Bay community and give kids the opportunity to explore, imagine, and create within those different lanes, whether it be marine science or the Port of Tampa, or whether it be engineering design at the Glazier Museum. So we're really excited about all the great things happening here in Tampa Bay.
You mentioned a STEM fair. When and where is your STEM fair? Or do you have multiple?
So we have one, and so we like to do things grand here in Hillsborough and in Tampa. I understand, that big doesn't mean better, but in our case, it's bigger and better. And our annual STEM fair, we've made a point to ensure that our elementary kids are working alongside of our middle school and high school kids. And because of the size of our districts in Florida, many districts choose to do different things with their different grade level bands. But for us, it's important for our youngest learners to see, their face in the place, so to speak, and see the middle school and high school kids competing in a similar competition, so that they will continue on with their experiments or their designs. And so our STEM fair this year will take place January 27th, 28th, and 29th. The big day is the judging day, where we will welcome 600 judges from the Tampa Bay community. And we will have over 2,200 students at the convention center for our STEM fair. And so those categories, range from traditional things that we may have all asked, at one point in our life, like, how does this seed grow, from a biological lens? But when we get into the more advanced projects in middle school and high school, we start to see students who are developing their own tools, developing their own techniques, and really engineering and creating and innovating, even within the lanes of engineering or biotech or, biochem. So it's a really exciting 3 days for us. And this just so happens to be the 40th anniversary of the Hillsborough Regional STEM Fair. So it's a big year for us, and we're excited about 2020.
That's pretty incredible. I mean, if you think about it from my perspective, I can't remember 40 years ago there being STEM networks out there at all. So you guys were definitely ahead of your time if you've done this for 40 years. Our program, the program I worked most closely with in Ohio, was 27 years old. I know that there's a invention convention out in Connecticut that's about 37 years old too. So you guys were leading the way, I think.
It's always great to be able to stand on the shoulders of people before you. So I can take no credit for, the great work that was done 40 years ago. However, my team will take great credit for the sweat and equity that they put into ensuring that our kids still have these great opportunities to share what they know. And as you're aware, with your own competition, it's difficult for us to blend where kids are, whether it is, submitting an idea via video or, participating from miles and miles away versus physically being all in the same space. So there is some tension for us. So, as a district, we make sure that our kids have an opportunity to do both types of competitions. If it's submitting a video and being a part of the innovative competition versus physically being there with the show board and being interviewed live and in person by real judges from STEM-centric careers. I think both have relevance and both have importance, but it's a big juggle at the district level, particularly of one of our size, to ensure that kids have all of those types of opportunities.
I think you'll find that same struggle all over the country. Trying to create that balance for both of those methodologies of competition and keeping it fair. So if a student is interested, I mean, is this something that their schools are already talking to them about, or is there anywhere in particular that a student who maybe is not aware of the opportunity at the STEM fair should be reaching out to, or their parents should reach out to?
Yeah, absolutely. And so, because the STEM fair is actually, we've built it into a part of our elementary curriculum, which is very unique. And so very few school districts around the nation, let alone Florida, have built in participating and creating a long-term investigation or some sort of design as a part of the grade and part of the daily experience for a child throughout the school year. So that sets us apart, and that also builds quite a strong foundation for inquiry in our district. And so kids, who go through K through 2, they're doing class-based projects. Parents may not even be aware that their child is participating in some sort of long-term investigation. Over the dinner table, perhaps, if those conversations still happen, they may share what they're doing or the data they're collecting. But what we're doing is getting the kids prepared, and we do select grade level projects from each of our schools to participate in the STEM fair. Then when we get into grades 3 through 5, the kids are either working in teams or individually. And so by having literally, 15 to 1,800 elementary kids there at the convention center, they're able to then see that this just isn't something that they do at school. And our kids in middle school and high school generally are doing a continuation of their project or perhaps another idea that inspires them, but they're doing that work outside of school time. So it's a balance for us, to create this foundation within the elementary school space where it's safe to do so. And then outside of elementary, so in middle and high school, parents and students, may be asking a local business, local industry, they may be asking the school district, perhaps a post-secondary institution, or maybe even a friend of the family to say, hey, here's an idea I have. How can we continue to build on that idea? What questions might I be able to ask, or what prototype might I be able to develop to help to answer a question? And so we truly rely on the community to help us with our older students in grades 6 through 12 to provide them with pathways into the STEM fair.
Well, I commend you for including K2, because I know from experience, not only in Ohio, but around the United States, that that's a lot of the organizations don't include the grade level because it's hardest to maybe articulate to them what needs to happen, or at least that's what they've found, that maybe their curriculum is not built or designed for that age level. I'm assuming you guys have come up with your own curriculum to be able to teach at that at that lower band elementary?
Well, I'd like to believe that we, have done great work in putting together not only a K through 2, but even a pre-K learning platform. But like all good educators, we steal, right? So I like to think of us as, maybe not necessarily great creators of content, although we do create some of our own. But just as, many music artists of today, we're really good at remixing, right? So we're sampling from several different sources to put together an experience for our kids that makes sense. And so we borrow from, several national organizations, some of the innovation content and curriculum. We're looking to national organizations like NSTA and the National Science Education Leadership Association for content that might be free or perhaps that we have to pay for that we can blend together. But going back to that question, the core question about K through 2, our philosophy and my professional philosophy is that that's probably the best age to get these kids inspired and excited, even if we're not spelling out to them, what we know they're doing. It's that natural inquisitiveness and learning about the world. And for us as adults, whether it be in the classroom or at home or perhaps in a cultural institution, it's fostering that joy of exploration and learning that is so vitally important, so that kids have positive experiences and also then want to learn more and are asking the right questions, and we're coaching them about asking the right questions. So I know our district is particularly interested in early learning, whether it be pre-K, all the way up through second grade. The importance of having those positive experiences, not only from the student perspective, but also a family perspective, and ensuring that down the road, if we've done our job right, we'll see, most of those kids walking across the stage with a diploma.
Yeah, and not only are they so inquisitive at that age, I think they haven't learned that there are restrictions and boundaries, or they haven't self-imposed those upon their thinking yet. So it is really the perfect time if you have an organization that has found the tools that they can use to support those age groups. That's wonderful.
And so we've all
doing?
probably been around kids, right? They ask the question, why, so many times. And, when my staff ask me the same question, we always say, why not? And so, I have a great group of people that are very much interested in, our kids. And so it's just, it's a super fun job. I know education is not necessarily painted as the best occupation in today's society, but I tell you what, there's nothing like, walking into a school like Farnell on Great American Teaching and seeing the excitement and joy in students' faces and understanding that you're helping them along their path.
Yeah.
So it doesn't sound like you're busy enough. What else are you doing, Barry?
Well, in my free 24 minutes, I'm doing a podcast.
Yeah. Well, and eating lunch at the same time.
So, the thing is, in this work, leading the Tampa-based STEM network is a lot of fun. Connecting with peers across the country, such as yourself, great fun. I happen to also work with the National Science Education Leadership Association, and I mentioned them in an earlier comment. That organization is the leadership affiliate of the National Science Teachers Association, and so that organization is comprised of decision-making folks, whether they be teacher leaders from the classroom, department chairs, or perhaps district-level leaders such as myself and my team, or maybe even state-level leaders, and of course college faculty. So it's a really interesting mix of folks that get together twice a year. We always collaborate with the National Science Teachers Association, so our upcoming 2020 Leadership Summit is Wednesday leading into STA. And then we also host a Summer Leadership Institute, which is a deeper dive of 3 days. We'll actually be in Austin, Texas this year from July 9th through the 11th. So we're excited about that opportunity too. Invention and entrepreneurial education is on the front wave of a lot of the ecosystem work. And the focus of the spring community of practice actually for the 89 international STEM learning ecosystems, which will also take place in Texas. San Antonio, the first week of March, will be on invention education. So
wow.
As we're being through, the ecosystems, a wide variety of folks. So you have, museum leaders, you have community leaders, elected officials, school district folks such as myself, but also business and industry people coming together to think a little bit differently about how we educate our kids. It's always an exciting time. And we always leave those convenings with a lot of ideas. And I think, going back to, you asked about my free time and what keeps me busy, education is always evolving. And because the kids of today are different from the kids of yesterday, as will the kids of tomorrow be different from the kids today, it's an ongoing, opportunity for leaders to ensure that we're, providing our kids with the best opportunities. So that's what keeps me refreshed. If it were the same job year over year, I probably wouldn't do it. My formal training is actually marine science and engineering, but I'm able to apply what I've learned in college to the education system, and it keeps it really fun.
Wow. Hey, Larry, can you give us a little bit of info on the award that you were just got an award, right?
I did. Well, let me see. I was just,
which one?
Let me think. People are calling from time to time. There was an award that was given recently for being a leader in digital technology, innovative education. And I believe that was through the Center for Digital Education. And I had actually been a recipient of that award 5 years ago. So it was great to be honored again for the work that we had done over the past 5 years and connected to invention education. So there's a lot of synergy in our area. It just so happens that Tampa will be the host site for the National League of Cities, who just convened 2 weeks ago, I think just prior to the Thanksgiving holiday in San Antonio. And we sent a relatively large delegation of not only our governmental leaders, but also business and tech leaders so that you can better understand what it means for Tampa to host the National League of Cities next fall. And there's just an enormous amount of excitement, not only with the school district, but also with all of our cultural institutions and the Tampa Bay STEM Network to ensure that education is positioned as a part of that solution for communities, and that Tampa can highlight the great work that we do around invention education. So we're excited for that. And that's not necessarily a word, but it is an honor to host that convening here in Tampa. And besides, hearing from our friends in Ohio, Tampa's not a bad place to visit around this time of year.
Not at all.
No doubt.
I seem to have lost the invite you sent, but well, whatever.
Hey, well, I will say this. It got really cold Monday night into Tuesday, and it was like 40, right? So
whatever.
That's funny.
So in the short time we have left, Larry, is there anything else you'd like to talk about or share with us? Anything upcoming or the latest new thing that you might want to divulge?
Yeah, I think, as district leaders, and I'll put my school district hat back on and speak a little bit about how we're trying to fit all the puzzle pieces together. We happen to be, the Tampa Bay STEM Network is the regional partner for code.org, and the state has gestured, that computer science and digital literacy, computational thinking are all going to be very important in that educational landscape moving forward, and have offered districts quite a bit of money, quite honestly, to implement computer science strategies. But the challenge I think that many district leaders face is thinking about all these things in isolation. And so what we're trying to coach our teachers, our principals, who might not have, a STEM or an entrepreneurial mindset, is to understand the real core connections back to English language arts, communication, mathematics, and science. So as we're speaking this language of digital literacy, computer science, computational thinking, innovation education, creativity, and entrepreneurialism, we're not throwing those 4 core subjects out the window. And it's our responsibility to understand and also put together those puzzle pieces as educators to ensure that we're engaging kids. It's fun, it's exciting. We're getting them prepared for the economies of tomorrow, but at the same time, they're leaving us understanding how to communicate, collaborate, but also understand, foundational mathematics and science in a way that we expect them to know. So my share out with anyone who's listening to the podcast is do not be overwhelmed by trying to add one more thing with innovation or entrepreneurial education. Think a little bit more about how it's connected back to the things that we know we need to teach kids and traditionally have, and it becomes an easy pathway. And I think Innovation World provides an excellent platform for educators, whether it be a classroom teacher or principal or perhaps a district administrator, to find those tools and assets and receive the support that they need to make those connections with the core content and everything that we're trying to do with kids in and out of school.
Wonderful. So let me ask you one last question. If somebody listening to this podcast decides they have to connect with Larry because he's doing so many things and they have these great ideas and they want to throw a whole bunch more money at the district, or they just want to participate in some way or volunteer, what is the best way for them to do this?
Yeah, absolutely. So happy to share. I spend most of my time, communicating with the rest of the world, probably through the Tampa Bay STEM Network. So you may find us at tampabaystem.org. You can find us on Twitter at Tampa Bay STEM. You can also find me probably by just Googling my name. But those are the platforms we utilize. I am on LinkedIn as well. And we are always looking for partners to come to the table where there is some sort of enlightened self-interest, where, whatever partnering organization, whether it be a cultural institution, a community org, or business, coming to the table where we can find common ground to provide an educational opportunity for our kids and our families, but also meet the goals and needs of whatever that partner wishes from the education system. And I would encourage folks to ask those questions. So a lot of times, business, industry, and even individuals have a hard time navigating the education system. It's enormous. We have 35,000 employees in Hillsborough County Public Schools alone, and knowing the right place or the right person to get to sit down and, dream forward for our community can be difficult. But I'm always available. I spend a significant time of my week meeting with folks who have ideas. And we try to find that common space where we can meet the needs of the organization, the community, and the school district.
Wonderful.
Wow. Very cool. Hey, Joey, I have a quick question for Larry, if possible. So Larry, real quick, all the schools in Hillsborough County have the ability, if a child is an inventor or has an invention or wants to get into inventing or has an idea, who should they see if they're not sure in the school? I mean, if the parents, or who should the parents talk to, or who should the child go and see to get involved in it?
So that first point of contact should always be the child's teacher. Oftentimes, our teachers may not be implementing something that they do know is available in the school district. They can point that family or that child into the right direction if there isn't a solution in the schoolhouse itself. If a teacher does not know, obviously the next point of contact would be someone in the administrative office, but the district office is always available as well. And so I do field, on a weekly basis, probably anywhere from 5 to 10 calls or emails from parents that are asking similar questions to what you asked. I don't see my child's school participating in innovation curriculum or opportunities, or I saw something in the community. It could be the Glacier Museum is hosting an innovation day, and how do we get involved? And so my office is happy to answer those questions to direct parents into the right space. But sometimes it's just providing them just little tidbits of information and directing them to the right space online, and they find exactly what they need.
That's great. Yeah, it was great because I was surprised the teachers at Farnell were very knowledgeable on the next steps the child or children or young adults should take, because their eyes really lit up when I started talking about inventions and showing them different things. And the teachers were knowledgeable on that. I just was wondering how the other schools handled it.
And so, we do on our district website, on our STEM page, which is one of the departments within the school district, we try to keep a live, breathing kind of update on all the competitions and opportunities that exist within the community. And in the Tampa Bay STEM Network page, you'll find something similar. And so that is populated by our partners. So if the Glacier Museum is doing something, they will put something on the Tampa Bay STEM Network page, and then we'll push that out to the broader community as well. But communication is always, it's a challenge. And so I know at times I get a lot of questions from parents, where they say, well, we never knew that was happening, or we didn't know it existed. And what my message would be is, we're probably doing quite a bit more than you know. Just ask, and we'll get you to the right person, and we'll ensure that your child has some more opportunities than you could probably cart them around to.
That I believe, and the school districts just getting bigger and bigger. So I totally I can see what you mean.
Yeah, it is.
All right, Julie, what's happening? Anything else we got to cover?
I don't think so. I think that I think we've taken a lot of Larry's time, and very much appreciate you taking time out today to meet with us and provide us some insights on what you're doing, and what, not even just what you're doing, what your whole region is doing in the Tampa Bay area. It's a lot, and it's wonderful that you can do this and have the ability to do this. So invent on, innovate on, I guess it would be.
Well, Julie, thank you so much for the invitation. I appreciate the opportunity to share our successes, and on behalf of my entire team, none of this work is done alone, and the community is also vitally important. I think the Tampa Bay STEM Network, I think our teachers, I think our administrators that go to work every day for our kids, and it's an exciting time to be in education. It's an exciting time to be in Tampa, and hey, the weather's not bad either.
Yeah, really. Well, let's connect again soon and talk about how Innovation World can help, or what we can do, as well as Inventors Launchpad. We did some fun things last year. We did some live podcasts. Maybe that's something that we can look at doing in the future at one of your or more of your events. However, we can get involved if we're ready to do so.
All right, sounds great. Well, both of you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I look forward to that future podcast and sharing all the great things that our kids do. Thank you much.
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you so much, Larry. And for all you listeners out there, please go on out to the Hillsborough County School District's website, the STEM website, tampabaystem.org. If you want to learn more about what's happening in the area, go on out to innovationworld.org to find out about what's going on with Innovation World. Go on out to iTunes or Google Play. Leave us a review or a rating. Let us know what you want to hear. And we appreciate you for listening today. And we'll catch you next time on Innovation World. You all take care.
Thank you for joining us today for the Innovation World podcast on the Launch Network. Innovation World is your go-to source for all things innovation, invention, and entrepreneurship. Our website is www.innovationworld.org.